Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we are reviewing something that I am personally extremely excited about. In fact, this is probably one of the most exciting products I've personally had on this channel since the beginning. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a dynamic muffler. Now, this is a muffler that can basically be as loud or quiet as you want it on command, and it's all fully self-contained in the muffler. There's no cutouts, there's nothing, no exhaust dumping onto your truck. This is probably the cleanest and best designed dynamic muffler I've ever seen on the market. And the best part is at the current moment, this is specifically designed for diesel trucks. Is this thing actually worth it? Is it a dream come true? Or is this one of those things that just looks way better on paper than it is in reality? Today, we're gonna find out. Now, I want to give you guys a little background on this project because I think it's actually really cool and I think it kind of adds to the story here. So Lars, the man behind this whole project, reached out to me on Instagram asking if I wanted to try these and actually sent me the version 1s, literally the first production models of the 4-inch, which is on my 2nd gen, and the 5-inch, which is on my 3rd gen muffler. He has been working on this for multiple years, however, and what's really cool is he's doing this entire project in his garage. This is literally the most American dream story ever, but Lars had an idea and he worked on designing this, patenting it, and has actually built this entire project out of his garage. All the tooling, the welding, the rollers, everything about designing this has happened in his garage. Now on my end, I was thrilled to see this because this is something I've always dreamed of having, right? My trucks do a lot of different stuff. They are fun toys, but they also tow, they also do long road trips. And so I would love to have a setup that can kind of adapt to that, right? When I'm towing and I'm doing 6-hour drive with 10,000 pounds behind me, the last thing I want to hear is my exhaust droning. But when I'm leaving work on Friday, I would love to have a loud 2nd gen. So having full control over that is something I've always wanted to do. And I've actually looked into doing some cutout setup or some sort of thing where there's like a separate tube that bypasses the muffler. But if you do cutouts, you have exhaust dumping underneath the truck. If you have a separate tube that bypasses the muffler, there's actually some exhaust scavenging and noise issues that go along with that. So what you really want is something that's self-contained in the muffler, like what Lars designed. The way the Thunder Muzzle works is it's essentially a standard muffler, except that the center section of the muffler can actually rotate. Now there's a servo motor and an actuator that allows that to happen. And basically, depending on how loud you want it to be, that's where that center section is going to sit. So if you want full straight pipe, that center section is going to sit straight. It's going to allow the exhaust to fully pass through the muffler, not hitting any of the sound deadening material. The quieter you want, and the more you turn that switch, the more the center section of the exhaust is actually going to turn and force the flow of the exhaust into the muffler chamber where there is sound deadening material. When you have the thing fully closed, which is basically fully perpendicular, it is essentially, or in my experience, almost quieter than a stock truck. So it's really cool to have full control over the system from basically being stock level quiet. You can go through drive-through, you don't really raise any eyebrows, to full straight pipe in a split of a second, basically as fast as you can turn that dial. So this is a super cool and super clever system. The nice thing about this is it's all self-contained. So this will fit into any existing exhaust system you have in your truck, right? It doesn't require any special exhaust system, no special hangers. This is basically around the size of a standard muffler, like give or take right around that 30-inch length, which is pretty standard for diesel mufflers. And this is going to bolt right into whatever exhaust system you have on your truck. In terms of controlling the system, Lars kept this super simple as well. So he actually includes a wiring harness that comes with this. And then inside the cab is a little dial that allows you to control how loud the muffler is. If you want to mount that with the 3D printed mount like I have on my 2nd gen, you can do that. Just mount it with double-sided tape on any flat surface. Or if you want to, you can actually drill a hole in any flat surface and you can mount that dial into that flat surface. Now the entire muffler is constructed fully out of stainless, so you will not have any rusting issues, and everything about it is about as nice as it gets. It's all TIG welded, and everything about it is just super high quality. Inside, there's basically a mesh material and then some sound deadening. Lars has a ton of awesome photos on his Instagram, kind of documenting, and videos actually documenting how the innards of the system work. But in this video, I actually want to take you guys out on the road, and I want to show you guys what this sounds like, because this thing sounds super cool on paper, but how's it sound in the real world? Let's go out. I have my second gen here so you guys can see exactly what this sounds like. All right, so right now we are driving in the full open mode. I'm filming just on my iPhone, no extra mic, no nothing. That way you guys can kind of relate to the audio. As you can hear, it's pretty loud. So we're going up a grade here. Typical straight pipe full open, and then we're gonna go full closed. And I'm gonna get on it. Way quieter. So in my 2 cents, I think this is actually quieter than stock. Obviously it's not super quiet, it's still second gen. Still plenty of turbo noise, but in terms of output, I'll do a little comparison. So this is full closed. Full open. And right now the truck's at like 2200 RPM, just to give you guys a comparison. I'm under load, going about 55, 60 uphill right now. So this is about as loud as it would get. So that's full open. So now we've got another little uphill here. I'm gonna go pretty hard on the throttle and full closed. So that took the truck up to about 2300 RPM, 2400 RPM, no drone, pretty dang quiet, honestly quieter than stock. I love it, it's perfect. Like, it is exactly what I wanted, where you can have full open, full closed, full command of it, and basically make the truck however you want it to be. In the clips that I just showed you guys, there is a mix of microphones so that I could kind of give you guys a way to capture what the audio sounds like. So the iPhone clips are iPhone clips. I wanted to give you guys that with no special microphones, because that's very relatable, right? You can go record your truck on your phone and see what that sounds like. And then I also have those rolling clips where I stuck a DJI mic on the back of the truck so you can actually hear what it sounds like with a good microphone while driving under load. In both situations, I feel like this is exactly as advertised, where you literally have a straight pipe level noise, which is what I had in my second gen before, and honestly stock levels of quietness. Now on my second gen with this muffler, I actually found that it is quieter than stock. Obviously that may vary depending on what your stock muffler is like, but on my 99 truck, this muffler is actually a little bit quieter than stock, which is really, really cool, because I can go through drive-thrus, I can do long road trips with my wife without her complaining, all that kind of stuff. It is fantastic. This system literally works exactly as designed. Now I want to cover the inevitable question of, what if it fails? So the way Lars designed this is with a very, very robust servo motor, but of course that can always fail. You know, what's interesting about this is that if it does fail, it's basically just a normal muffler, right? If it fails open, it's a straight pipe. If it fails closed, it's just a normal muffler, right? There's nothing that's like stopping you from driving. There's nothing that's an issue if it fails, right? If you have a cutout that fails, you have exhaust dumping onto your truck full time. In this situation, no matter what, the exhaust is coming out the tailpipe just like normal. It's just you won't have control over how loud it is. In my testing, I had 0 issues with failure. I don't think looking at that servo motor either that you are going to really have any issues with failure, just because it's so overbuilt for just rotating that little section of pipe. But this is something that Lars did extensive testing with, and he's had 0 issues with the system. Now, one question that I saw a lot of people ask, and I wanted to actually test and address, is EGTs. Is there any change to EGTs with this open or closed? If you go in the forums, and especially the Facebook groups, I've seen a lot of people saying that, oh, this thing's gonna blow your EGTs out the roof with that muffler closed. In my experience, there's absolutely 0 change. I took this truck on some very steep grades near me where I was under throttle with the truck, and I can go full open, full close, and the EGTs in the truck do not change whatsoever. I'm sure there is a slight change in back pressure, but it's probably no worse than the factory muffler. If honestly anything, it probably flows better than the stock muffler. So I would say, in my 2 cents, I didn't really notice any kind of meaningful performance detriment with this. Even full closed, the truck runs fine, zero change in EGTs, zero change in how the truck feels and drives. Obviously a huge change in sound. That's exactly what you kind of want with a setup like this. So in the end, is this setup worth it? At the time of filming this video, this muffler is sitting right around the $1,000 price mark. So it is not cheap, especially when you're considering that most people are going to be pairing this with some other exhaust system that's also going to cost a few $100 or even more if you're going full stainless like the muffler itself is. It's not cheap, but at the same time, this is a completely one-off product and it is completely made in the USA out of all the nicest materials. So I really don't see any way this product could be cheaper, accounting for Lars's time, the materials, the fabrication, shipping, everything else. It's about as cheap as it could possibly be. So is this something that's attainable for everyone? Honestly, probably not, given that it's $1,000, but I would say if you can swing this, this is probably one of the coolest upgrades to make to your truck to have full control over the exhaust system. This is especially true if you're someone like me that lives in a state that is not super amenable to loud exhaust, right? If I need to, I can quiet this thing down to stock levels at the blink of an eye, say if I see someone that wouldn't like a loud exhaust. So I do really like that, and I think that that value is huge for a lot of us. If you're someone that just likes having a straight pipe full-time, whatever, that's fine, I totally get it. But for a lot of us that are doing multiple things with our trucks, where we're towing, we're taking our family on trips, we're having fun with them on the weekends, that kind of thing, this is such a cool tool because it allows you to basically have the truck be whatever you want it to be at the time you're driving it. So do I think this thing is worth it? Yes. This is personally something that I would have on every truck now. This is something that I've totally grown accustomed to. It's just so nice to be able to roll up to a drive-through, have the truck be quiet, pull out of the drive-through, have the truck be loud. I never quite thought I would use it as much as I do, but I'd say probably on my average drive, I'm changing this thing once at least every 15, 20 minutes just for the fun of it. It's so cool to have the thing be pretty loud, get on the freeway where you're going 70, you kind of start to get some drone, shut the thing up right away. Someone calls on the phone, I need to answer a phone call on Bluetooth, shut the truck up right away. So it's so cool to have that control over the exhaust system, and it can be exactly as loud or quiet as you want it at that moment. So shout out to Lars, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. I'm really impressed. And if you guys want one of these, go check out the Glory Days Speed Shop website. They're on there, in stock, and ready to go. So thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.